They said the sun never set on the British Empire. From India's spice ports to the jungles of Africa, from the Caribbean to the icy tip of Canada, British flags fluttered in every wind. But behind the glory was conquest. Behind the order, rebellion. And behind the empire's rise, the seeds of its fall. Before we dive in, if you love stories of power, ambition, and empire, hit like, subscribe, and comment which empire you'd like us to explore next. Our story begins on a small island off the coast of Europe, England, a nation of merchants and explorers. In the 16th century, while Spain and Portugal were carving up the New World, England was still small but hungry. With Queen Elizabeth I's blessing, sailors like Francis Drake and Walter Raleigh set out across the oceans, chasing gold, glory, and God. At first, the empire was not built by kings, but by companies. The East India Company, founded in 1600, became one of the most powerful commercial enterprises in history, a corporation with its own army, navy, and governors. By trading spices, silk, and tea, it laid the foundation of an empire run not from palaces, but from ledgers and gunships. In the 1600s and 1700s, Britain began planting colonies in North America, the Caribbean, Africa, and Asia. Each served a purpose. America grew tobacco and cotton. The Caribbean produced sugar. Africa supplied labor and resources. India became the jewel in the crown. But the empire's wealth came with a dark price: the transatlantic slave trade. Between the 16th and 19th centuries, Britain transported millions of Africans to the Americas under brutal conditions. It was one of humanity's darkest chapters, one the empire would later confront, but never erase. By the 18th century, Britain was not just trading, it was ruling. Its navy dominated the seas, its merchants controlled global commerce, and its colonies fed the factories of the Industrial Revolution. Cotton from India became cloth in Manchester. Sugar from Jamaica sweetened London's tea. The empire was a machine, fueled by trade, protected by warships, and justified by a belief in civilization. But empires built on control always face rebellion. In 1776, Britain's own colonies in North America rose in revolt, demanding freedom and self-rule. The American Revolution shocked the world. How could the empire that ruled the seas lose its own settlers? When Britain finally recognized U.S. independence in 1783, it seemed the empire's power had peaked. But this was just the beginning. Losing America pushed Britain eastward, toward India, Africa, and Australia. No story of the British Empire can be told without India. Through the East India Company, Britain exploited India's immense wealth: spices, silk, diamonds, and manpower. But by the mid-1800s, exploitation turned to domination. After the Indian Rebellion of 1857, the British Crown took direct control. Queen Victoria was proclaimed Empress of India. Railways, universities, and bureaucracies were built, but they served imperial power more than the Indian people. And yet, from that same land would rise voices that would one day undo the empire: Mahatma Gandhi, Nehru, and millions who demanded freedom through nonviolence. By the late 19th century, the British Empire stretched across a quarter of the globe. It ruled over 400 million people. From the gold mines of South Africa to the farmlands of Australia, the Union Jack flew everywhere. In Africa, during the scramble for Africa, Britain seized vast territories: Egypt, Sudan, Kenya, Nigeria, and more. The slogan, "The sun never sets on the British Empire," became true. But even at its height, rebellion simmered beneath the surface. World War I, 1914 to 1918, tested the empire's unity. Millions of soldiers from India, Canada, Australia, and Africa fought for Britain. Victory came at a cost, both in blood and loyalty. By World War II, the empire was overstretched and exhausted. When Japan captured British colonies in Asia, It shattered the myth of British invincibility. After the war, Britain emerged victorious, but broke. The years after 1945 brought an unstoppable wave, decolonization. In 1947, India won independence. Soon after, Pakistan, Nigeria, Kenya, Ghana, Malaysia, and dozens more followed. Britain's empire faded, but not its influence. English became the world's lingua franca. British law, education, and governance left footprints in nearly every former colony. The empire had dissolved, but its shadow shaped the modern world. Today, the British Empire's legacy is complex. It built railways, schools, and legal systems, but also inflicted war, exploitation, and cultural erasure. It connected the world, but also divided it. The Commonwealth of Nations, made up of former colonies, stands as a reminder that from conquest can come cooperation. The empire that once spanned the world no longer rules it, but its impact, for better or worse, endures in every corner of the globe. The British Empire rose through courage and commerce, ruled through power and persuasion, and fell through resistance and change. It was not just a story of kings and colonies, but of humanity's endless struggle for freedom and control. The sun never set on the British Empire, because the world was forever changed by its light and its shadows. If you enjoyed this journey through history, like, subscribe, and tell us, which empire should we explore next? The Ottoman Empire, the Mongols, or the Persian Empire?